This video is from Microsoft Word, specifically 2007. It's a basic introduction and overview of Microsoft Word. To get the most out of this video, I recommend you click the full screen icon in the lower right-hand corner edge of the video. If you click the gear icon and select 720 or at least 480, it'll help to improve the view of the video. To get started, I already have Microsoft Word open, so let me maximize that. Throughout this video, I'll refer to tabs, groups, and buttons. We can see the tabs across the top of the page here. We have a Home tab, Insert tab, Page Layout tab, etc. As I click on any of these tabs, the ribbon comes down and we can see the various groups. This is the font group. This is the paragraph group. This is the styles group. These groups group the various buttons that are relative to one another. Now you will notice that as I click off of, say I click within my document, that ribbon disappears. Most people like that ribbon to stay visible, and you can change that setting simply by moving your mouse pointer up towards the top here, and there's a little button. When you roll over it, it says Customize Quick Access Toolbar. If you click this button and scroll down to the bottom, it says Minimize the ribbon, and that's checkmarked. I'm going to uncheckmark that, and you'll notice now that the ribbon stays visible even if I click within the document here. So again, jumping back just to cover those three basics that I'll use frequently, we have tabs across the top. When you click on a tab, various groups will show up, like this is the styles group, and within the styles group there's various buttons, and you can click any of these buttons. Likewise, in the paragraph group, it has its own set of buttons to customize text. Now this video can be used for all purposes of learning more about Microsoft Word, but the main focus here is if you're one that likes to create gift cards or flyers using Microsoft Word, what I strongly suggest is that you use text boxes to place text within the Microsoft document. Now as you can see, you can click directly within the document and start typing anything. But it becomes difficult to format that text. What I suggest is you come up to the Insert tab, and under the text group there is a text box button. Click that button, and just for this example I'll select Simple Text Box. You'll see a text box immediately appears here. If I click off of it, you'll see it's there and it's overlaying the picture. What I'm going to do is just click within the text box, and it automatically selected all of the text. I'm going to enter 3 lines. I'll use my name, Eric Troy Jorgensen. Now as you can see, this text box everything is double spaced between the carriage returns. I prefer it to be single spaced. So I am going to click within this text box to make sure it's selected. I'm going to press Control A to select everything, and then right click over the selected text. A menu appears, and I'm going to select Paragraph from that. If I come down, I'm going to place a check mark in this setting. It says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style, and I'll also change this line spacing option to single instead of multiple. So I'll come and click OK. Now as you can see now, the text is single spaced between the carriage returns. Text boxes, as I mentioned earlier, can be moved around to whatever position you would like them in. If I roll my mouse over the text box and I want to come to the very edge, and when I roll over the edge, you'll notice that icon appear, the move icon. When that mouse pointer icon appears, I'm going to click, and you'll see now that the text box is selected. Not the text within the text box, but the text box itself. As long as I see that icon, I know that I can click and drag to move my text box wherever I want it to go. Now I can also grab any of these anchor points around the edge of the text box to resize the text box. So I can click the bottom and pull it down. I could click the edge and resize it horizontally and vertically. So let's say in this example I want to place this text over the picture. So I'm going to come to the edge till I see the move pointer. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag the text over the picture. Now you can see the obvious problem that the text box is not transparent. And also if I click off of it, you can see there's a black outline around that text box. To change that setting, and it's pretty simple, I'm going to come in and again I'm going to select the edge of the text box. I don't want to select the text within the text box. I want to select the text box itself. And when I see that pointer change to the move pointer, I'm going to click, and up at the top there is a Format tab. I'm going to click that Format tab, and I have some settings here now that I can change. I'm going to change the shape fill to be set as no fill, and I'm going to change the shape outline to be set as no outlines. Now as you can see, the text box is transparent and there's not an outline within it. At this point, I'm going to change some of the formatting of the text within it. I'm going to make the text larger. So let me click within the text box. I want to affect all of the text here. So I'm going to push Control A, and I'm going to move up and select the Home tab. Now under the Home tab, specifically in the font group, there's several functions here to change the setting of the text. So first I'm going to change the text itself. I want to choose a much thicker font. I'm going to change the size here. It's set at 11. I'm going to set it at about 24. And third, I'm going to change the color of the font. I'm going to change it to white. So let me move down here to a white font. If I click outside of the area that I'm editing, you'll notice the text is overlaid, the picture, just the way I want it. Now the one other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to reposition this text. Now as I mentioned, if you click within, any changes you make are going to affect the text within, but I want to move the entire text box. So I'm going to go to the edge till I see the move pointer and then click and drag that text up. Also, with the text box selected, I can use the arrow keys to finely tune the position of the text. So I'm going to move it all the way to the edge, and that's exactly where I want it. So those are some basic options of affecting the text box. I'm going to click this text box and just move it out of the way for now, and I'm going to show you some examples of changing the characteristics of a picture. So let me delete this existing picture. To insert your own picture, you go up to Insert, and under the Illustrations group, you select Picture. From there, I'm going to select a different picture for this example, and I'm going to select that picture and click the Insert button, and you'll see that picture inserts. Say I want the picture to be smaller. I can go to the edge, one of the corners, and click and drag to resize that picture. So I'm going to scale it down quite a bit, and you'll see that picture resized and repositioned itself right up in the upper left corner. By default, you'll notice if I click and try to drag the picture, say I want to move the picture to a different place on the page, it will not let me move that picture. To change it so that you can move that picture wherever you want, if you come to the picture, select it, right click on it, and move the mouse down the menu to text wrapping. From that sub-menu that expands off of text wrapping, I'm going to move over and I'm going to select through. And what that's going to do now is I can now move and relocate that picture wherever I would like it to be. So let's say I change my mind I want this picture to be larger. I'm going to go to the edge of it, click and drag to resize it. And if I click back up to where my text box is, I'm going to click and drag the text over the picture. As you can see, the text is not visible over this picture, and that's because the picture I imported overlaid the text. What I want is text to be overlaid over the picture. So I'm going to come up and click undo so that my text box is right back up here. There's one of two ways that you can do this. You can either move the picture backward in layers, or you can bring your text forward in layers. So what I prefer is to bring the text forward. Now if I come to the edge of the text box and I right click, there's an order, and that expands off into several options. What I want to do is I want to bring that text box to the front. So now it is in front of the picture. Coming back to the edge till I see the move icon. Once I see it, I can click and drag that text. And as you can see, now the text is placed over the picture, not under the picture. So these are just some very, very basic instructions on using Word and formatting pictures and text. There's so much more to formatting pictures. You really have so many more options, but I'm not going to cover that at this point. Thanks for watching, and there will be additional videos soon.